Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. The start of the 16-17 season was like most others. The same few teams were favourites to win the Champions League, and PSG, who had won LIGUE by 31 points the prior season, were heavy favourites to retain it for the 5th season on the bounce. But in the Principality of Monaco, Leonardo Jardim was quietly putting together a team that would send shockwaves through Europe, getting to the Champions League semi-finals and winning the league by 8 points, with only 1 point less than the all-time record. But how exactly did Jardim achieve all of this? Let's take a look. And if you're watching this video, you're probably a football fan, and the best football app around is our video sponsor, OneFootball. OneFootball lets you follow your favorite teams easily, giving you the latest match updates, news, stats, and more for your team or even individual players. The best part is completely free through the link in the description below. Monaco already had a great spine to their squad, but an excellent transfer window set them up for success. Radamel Falcao came back from loan, as did Germain. Other key signings included Kamil Glik from Torino, Djibril Sidibe from Lille, as well as Benjamin Mendy from Marseille. And Jardim had a clear preferred formation, that being the 4-4-2, which he used in 31 of 38 league matches. And although he allowed for rotation, his first choice 11 looked like this, but we saw big contributions from Moutinho in midfield, as well as Valery Germain up front, often rotating with Falcao and Mbappe. Now, let's look at the tactics, beginning with the build-up play. With 52% possession, Monaco averaged the 5th most possession in Ligue. And one of the key components of this Monaco side was their flexibility both in and out of possession. So rarely did their 4-4-2 remain as a 4-4-2. If they faced a team who defended with only one centre-back, Glik and Jemerson would naturally have the 2 versus 1 advantage to keep the ball comfortably, whilst Mendy and Sidibe, who were both highly offensive, could push up high and early, which could allow Silva and Lemar to keep their width. So the build-up shape could look like a 2-4-4. The width of the front four, with the fullbacks potentially overlapping, meant that it was harder for opposition back fours to remain narrow, creating more space infield for Falcao and Mbappe, who are both masterful movers. But when playing against teams with a front two, Monaco had the perfect man in Fabinho, who had the on-the-ball skills of a pivot, but had experience playing at both right back and centre back. Naturally, he would be the man to drop in either centrally or to the right to create a back three. This made sense, as he usually played alongside a more box-to-box midfielder in Bakayoko or Moutinho, who preferred to be higher. This would leave them isolated in midfield, however, and both Silva and Lemar are perfectly comfortable playing as wingers but could easily drift central, so they could support Bakayoko, so suddenly the shape would be more of a 3-5-2. And there was also scope to switch to a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, depending on where Jardim determined the opposition's weaknesses and strengths to be. The main priority of these constant changes in shape were to maintain numerical superiority around the ball in all situations. Moving higher up the pitch, getting the ball from defense to attack quickly with short passes was the aim. As discussed, Bakayoko could operate in a more offensive manner, as he was more box-to-box and looked to join the attack, whilst Fabinho held. But neither of these midfielders could really be considered highly creative. So, this is why rather than deploy out-and-out wingers, Monaco opted for creative ones, who could take over all the creative burden. They were both great in 1 versus 1 situations down the wings, and could get past their men and get good crosses in. Falcao was a particularly good aerial target, scoring 5 headed goals in the league, while Germain was more than competent, whilst Mbappe's movement in the box also allowed him to get on the end of these crosses. But where Monaco's double pivot had the numerical disadvantage against most midfields, Bernardo and Lemar coming infield early would mean that the centre was suddenly overloaded. And from these inside positions, both Bernardo and Lemar had 2 elite movers ahead of them to feed and create chances for, leading to a higher assist rate. The wingers' positioning in the half spaces often forced the fullbacks narrow, and Sidibe and Mendy were essentially secondary wingers, arriving at high speeds to get whipped crosses in. And again, Falcao and Mbappe were the perfect men to make the most of these situations. Mendy and Sidibe got 5 assists each from wide. But the insane finishing rate of Monaco this season was a game changer. Monaco scored 24 goals more than PSG despite having an expected goals that was 6 goals worse. Mbappe and Falcao were immense, each scoring over 6 goals more than expected. And Monaco also conceded the second least goals in the league. So let's touch on a few of their defensive tactics. Again, the fluidity, both in mentality and formation, was key for Monaco. This could include high pressing when needed, and they were the 5th highest pressers in the league. They could press a back 2 man-to-man with the forwards, whilst also staying tight on the fullbacks, thereby limiting the progression options. If facing a back 3, Lemar or Silva would join the front line when needed. But if the opponent was particularly strong in midfield, again, Monaco could easily adapt to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 to even things up in the area. If the opponents were force long, Glick and Jemison were dominant in the air and were able to get the best of most forwards. But even when defending deep, Monaco were an offensive threat and quite strong in the transition, and they had the 3rd most direct shots from counter-attacks in LIGUE. This could be through directly releasing the pace of Mbappe in behind. But the threat of Mbappe's pace meant that most defenses dropped deep early so Falcao could receive, and Mbappe and the fullbacks, Bakayoko and even the wingers flooding forward were all options to pick out. Overall, the 16-17 season was incredible for Monaco. They got to the finals of both the Coupe de France and the Coupe de la Ligue, although were admittedly decimated by a vengeful PSG. But their run to the Champions League semi-final was incredible, including wins over Spurs and Dortmund, as well as Manchester City in one of the greatest Champions League ties of all time. But of course, their league triumph was their crowning achievement, winning 30 of 38 matches and being just 1 point away from PSG's all-time record of 96 points. In the following years, Monaco would slowly lose key player after key player, but still, Jardim's 16-17 side will go down in history. But what are your favourite memories of this side? Drop them down below. A quick shout out to my Patreons for helping to make this video possible. If you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple and you'll get rewards like early access to videos and exclusive content. And a special thanks to my newest patrons, including Igor Miljevic, Yusuf Halim McFurry, Adidev Guru, and Claire Hegeri. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.